Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. This is AMs with Annette, your UK business update, Mondays to Thursdays at 11 a.m. Thank you for joining me. I do very much appreciate you tuning in today. So, of course, we had the announcement from the Chancellor yesterday. So we have a lot of things to cover off today. I'm just making sure that I can pull up my chat box so that I can see the comments from everyone. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. Give me a hello in the comments if you are joining. I would love to know that you are here. So do let me know in the comments. Do give me a hello so that I know you are watching today. As I said, this is AMs with Annette, your UK business update weekdays not weekdays, Mondays to Thursdays, in fact, at 11 a.m. So thanks for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I do appreciate it. Joe, we will be speaking about that. I'm assuming you're meaning the vouchers for eating out and stuff. So we'll be speaking about that as well. So I'll be giving all those updates. So lots of things happening. Thank you. Lovely to see that I am top live. Caden, thank you for letting me know that. Hello, Ellie. Thank you for tuning in, whichever platform you are on today. Thank you for joining us. We are currently live on TikTok, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, within the Uncover Wealth community, my private Facebook group for business owners as well. So if you're not a member of the Uncover Wealth community, I highly recommend that you come and find us on Facebook and join as well. So the first thing that we have on the list today is that VAT cut from 20% to 5% on food, accommodation, and attractions. That will kick in from Wednesday, the 15th of July, and it will run up until January the 12th of July. So that is the VAT reduction from 20% to 5% on food, accommodation, and attractions. Of course, the plan with this is to basically try and stimulate spending in those areas to encourage the economy to get moving. And of course, linked to that as well, the government has said it will give everyone 50% off meals at participating restaurants during August, with a discount of up to £10 per head for adults and children, applicable Mondays to Wednesdays. Will be very interesting to see if this actually has the desired effect for people. Is £10 the right level to get people en masse coming into these hospitality industry places from Mondays to Wednesdays? We'll see. Typically those days tend to, of course, be lower footfall days anyway, so they're obviously trying to stimulate the lower footfall days from that too. So it would be interesting to see. Of course, restaurants will need to sign up to be part of this. We don't know how easy or difficult that might be for restaurants to take part at the moment. So we will find out on that, whether it is going to be easy for the smaller and independent restaurants to sign up, or whether this is going to be mainly a chain thing. We did hear Rich yesterday mention that he had Wagamama's, for example, signed up. So obviously a big chain restaurant there. Whether or not small independents will be able to as well, let's see on that. And this is the case with a number of things that we are speaking about, of course, today, is that very much often the devil is in the detail. And in some instances, we don't necessarily have all the detail yet. We did find that with some of the previous announcements that were made. The headlines sounded great. And then when we dug into the details, perhaps not as incredible as they had first sounded. So again, let's see what happens with these announcements that we had. See whether or not actually in reality they're gonna be as good as they might think that they are. I don't sell food. I believe it's I don't believe it actually applies to alcohol. So, so no, it would not apply in that instance as far as I have read. Hey, Kirsten, thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining me. So yeah, it does not apply, I believe, to the alcohol portion of what you might be offering there. So let's see if I can move that there. There we go. Okay, so thank you everyone who's joining me. Thank you for all the love, the hearts, the shares, the likes, all those amazing things. I massively appreciate it very much. Thank you for everyone who is doing that, everyone who's tuning in. Thank you for joining me. I very much, as I say, do appreciate it. Let's see if we've got any questions or comments. Farron, hello. Thank you for joining me. Santi, thank you for joining me. Some rather strange questions from you in the comments. We are speaking about UK business update today, so we are not covering off anything like that, but that is what we are covering off today. So tuning in, joining me. This is AM's with Annette, your UK business update. So thank you for tuning in. We do this session Mondays to Thursdays at 11 a.m. as well. So please do mark that in your calendars. Although saying that, I am actually having a week off next week, so I won't be around doing these sessions next week, but service will resume as normal, as they say, the following week. So so next week I'm having a little bit of a week off and some family time. So I won't be doing those sessions next week. We are also hearing, of course, we've got temporary holiday on stamp duty on the first 500k in England and Northern Ireland, this is, and that will run up to the 31st of March 2021. There are calls, of course, in Scotland to implement something similar. The Scottish government has been saying, well, actually, our system is different anyway. And one big problem with implementing in Scotland is that stamp duty is one of the only ways that Scotland has to raise its own tax revenues. There's not many levers that Scotland can pull when it comes to the tax revenue, and therefore Scotland is saying, well, hang on a minute, we don't have many ways anyway to raise our tax revenue, therefore we don't necessarily want to implement this too. So that is that's going to cause a problem. Block. There we go. Lovely. Always some crazies on TikTok that I have to block, unfortunately. James says, where should I look for advice for my girlfriend's small art business? James, I'm actually running an open Q&A session at 3 p.m. UK. So you or her or both of you can come on and join me and ask any questions that you like there. So I'm running that session at 3 p.m. I will be on all platforms. So please do feel free to come and join me for that session. I would love to have you there, and I can and answer any questions that you may have. Brit and is saying tourism VAT is dropped to 5%, but salons, for example, cannot operate at full capacity and don't get the drop. Yeah, absolutely, Brit. And there are many sectors, of course, now that are saying, hang on a minute, you know, we still have major issues in our sector. Why have we not been covered by this? I also spoke to somebody this morning who is in wedding events, and rightly so, she is saying, well, hang on, we still can't actually operate and there's no extra support coming our way. How can this be the case? So yeah, absolutely, Brit, and it feels like a number of sectors still have some big issues there as well. And many people, of course, wanted a VAT reduction across the board. But we saw from the financial crash that a reduction in VAT didn't actually encourage spending overall when we looked at when you took it across everything. So that's probably why it's not being cut in other areas, because of course VAT is again a tax that gives the Chancellor and the Treasury funds in order to be paying out under these other schemes, in order to be trying to manage the debt that the country now has as well, a debt which is now, public borrowing is now exceeded 350 billion pounds. So they're, cutting, mass cutting of tax and VAT and any other taxes is very problematic generally. When it comes to that level of debt. Many people, of course, were calling for also cuts in employers and employees' national insurance contributions. We didn't see that. We saw some measures in relation to jobs, but we didn't see any tax cuts other than that VAT one, and of course the stamp duty holiday in England and Northern Ireland. There is a number, as I say, number of announcements around jobs and around wages and encouraging people to hire, encouraging business owners to hire. So what we've heard is the government will give companies £2,000 each to encourage them to hire apprentices. That is if the apprentice is under the age of 25. If firms will get a 1.5k, so £1,500 for apprentices who are over the age of 25. So that's taking people through the apprenticeship schemes. Of course, they have to do college training and that kind of thing at the same time. So that's one thing that has come out. Might be interesting for a number of businesses if you are looking to grow, to make use of the apprenticeship scheme and of course get some funds for doing that. We're also hearing that the government will pay employers £1,000 to take on trainees. Traineeships different to apprenticeships, so one or the other or both might be useful for your business, again, if you're looking to grow and move forward. And we're also hearing that £1,000 will be given under something called the job retention bonus to businesses who keep furloughed workers on until January 2021. Now, the interesting thing with this is we don't know if this will also apply to those directors who had furloughed themselves. So there are some directors of small businesses in particular who put themselves on furlough. And of course, they're going to keep themselves employed all the way through as long as their business is still running. They're going to keep themselves employed until January 2021. So whether or not they get to get this £1,000 bonus or not will be interesting to see whether there's a direct exemption from that. Of course, many people who did furlough themselves as directors were saying, well, how can I live off 80% of the salary? This was essentially top that up. That would top it up to your full salary amount. Now, of course, you're not getting your dividends amount. I get that, completely understand that, but this will top it up so you'd get essentially your full salary for most of the time period that you're furloughed. If you are entitled to, we don't know at the moment if there will be an exemption for directors or not, but that is the situation. And we also, in terms of those job schemes, we also have the Kickstart scheme, and this is where the government will cover the cost 25 hours work a week at national minimum wage. It is open for applications from August. Is a place 16 money is, and it is the employers are training and support to help the new employees find a permanent employment at the end of their placement. We presume that permanent employment can be within the company that is taking them on to do that Kickstart scheme. That would be logical, but we'll have to again wait and see on the details in that. So thank you to everyone who's joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I massively appreciate it. I massively appreciate all the likes, the loves, the hearts, the follows, all those incredible things. Thank you so much for all of that. Now, let me just see if we've got any more in as well. James is saying, is where borrowing comes from too. So there's all those kinds of things that come into play. So that's what that means, James, when we hear those terms. Thank you, Monica. Thank you for joining me, Bug. Thank you, Fresh Junior. Is it an alternative to printing money? Yeah, essentially, it is an alternative to printing money. We may have to print money as well to then pay it back, which seems odd. Yeah, it's it's a rather confusing mix of economics that creates that. But yeah, potentially. Shout out Dolly. Hello, Dolly. Thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. So the government has also announced a 2 billion green home grant where homeowners and landlords will be able to apply for vouchers to make their homes more energy efficient and create local jobs. The grants are to cover at least 2/3 of costs, up to 5K per household. This, of course, as a business owner, may potentially benefit those people that are supplying in that industry. So there's a potential that actually increased work will come to people in that industry as a result of this grant, which is why I wanted to mention it in this section and this session as well, because that's a possibility going forward too. We also have heard specifically in construction sector, government is, I said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that although we are getting construction restarting, the industry does not believe that it's going to need as many people. It believes there's going to be an issue in the longer term, and therefore a number of people are already being made redundant in that sector. Therefore, there is this construction talent retention scheme program, which is being funded by the government to try and alleviate some of that. So those are basically the main announcements that were made in the summer statement by the Chancellor on the 8th of July. Those are the ones that they covered, and time will tell as to whether this impacts positively. Now, many commentators are saying this doesn't go nearly as far enough. This is not actually an economic stimulus package. This is a jobs package. It has nothing to do with actually re-stimulating the economy and trying to get us into that V-shaped bounce back. This doesn't even come close, is what many commentators are saying this morning. Of course, incredibly positive on the jobs front. The Chancellor is quite honestly petrified that we suddenly have 8 billion people or something unemployed as a result of furlough schemes ending and all those things, which is why there is a big focus on the jobs side of things to try and stop that situation where we suddenly have mass unemployment, because that, of course, has hugely negative effects for the economy in actually not just the short term, but the medium to long term as well. So that is the situation we have. I have also heard in the last 24 hours that Tide, the fintech bank, is closing their bounce back loans applications. They have not managed to secure any more funding, so they are saying it's on pause. But to all intents and purposes, whether you're on the waiting list or not, Tide is probably not going to be the place that you're going to manage to secure a bounce back loan from, unfortunately. And they are suggesting that you look to other lenders. If you were on the waiting list for Tide and you were sitting waiting patiently for them to allocate some of that bounce back loan to you, unfortunately, it doesn't feel like that's going to happen anytime soon. So you may want to consider looking elsewhere as well. I can say happy birthday to Peter. Happy birthday, Peter. Ghost 99999 is asking, is my hair real? Yes, my hair is real. This is all my hair. This is 100% me and my hair. I don't have extensions. It's just my hair as it grows out of my head, with a little bit of dye in there as well. I'm naturally brunette, but I have to cover the grays too. So there's a little bit of a insight into me. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. This is, of course, AMs with Annette, your UK business update, Mondays to Thursdays at 11 a.m. But like I said, I will not be live next week. I'm taking some time off and spending some family time. So I won't be doing our sessions next next week, but I will be back the following week. Now, if you are running a business, I would love if you want to join me inside the Uncover Wealth community. That is my private community on Facebook for business owners. You can go to Facebook and type Uncover Wealth Community into the search bar, or in most instances on most platforms, you can click the link in my bio description and find me there as well. I will also be live again at 3 p.m. today for strategic chats. Again, whichever platform you are watching on, I will be live there for strategic chats today at 3 p.m. where you can come and ask me any questions about your business or indeed about my business, and I will happily answer those. So do make sure you pop that in your diary and join me at 3 p.m. today, back wherever you are watching just now. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. I know your time is incredibly precious, and I always massively appreciate you spending some of it with me. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon. Take care.